basically start our session for the day. Yeah, yeah, that would be nice.
Can you hear me, Manoj?
Yeah, yes, Hannah, I'm perfectly able to hear you.
Okay, so we can start up. Hi, hello everyone. Can you hear me, guys? If yes, can you just ping me over the window?
Yeah,
Okay, fine. Yeah. So, hello everyone. So let me just give a brief description about Manoj. So, welcome to Ariba demo session and Ariba overview here. We are an SAP training and implementation company. We are providing SAP training in all SAP modules and in SAP Ariba since more than 3 years now. So we have completed almost 70 batches and have trained more than 2,500 professionals in SAP Ariba. So we have Manoj with us. He is having more than 15 years of experience in SAP. He has started his career with SAP MM and then later on SAP SRM, and since 7.5 years he is working in SAP Ariba. He has done approximately 6+ end-to-end implementations in SAP Ariba. He is really a very knowledgeable person and good experience in mentoring as well. Right now, he is working with one of the big four companies. He is a solution architect of SAP Ariba. So we are going to start the demo now, and let me brief you the rules of the demo. Everyone are on the mute, and we are going to start the session now, and later after 30 minutes we take a break for question answer session, and you can raise your hands, so we will unmute you and you can ask your queries. And Manoj, once you're done with your presentation, you can just let me know so that we can just show them the folders what we are sharing. Okay, you can just call me on my phone. Okay,
yeah,
thanks.
definitely,
You can,
Hannah. Yeah,
Manoj.
and thanks for the, yeah, and thanks for the introduction over there. Beautiful introduction over here.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome, Sana. Okay, so guys, as we, as Sana said, the same thing I will also tell to all of you guys that our goal over here in this particular session is not to basically make all of you understand Ariba. Why? Because there are competitors who will basically do the same thing. What is our goal? So our goal over here is to make all of you project ready. That is the specific thing which we are trying to do from our inception from 2017 onwards. This all this 500 participant, actually I don't consider them as participant, I will consider them as mentee, and I will consider myself as mentor. So basically our main goal is to make all of you ready for the project. It's not like uh, you know giving you some basic introductions or end user training. So that is what we are trying to do. We are going to basically take our knowledge from the project and we are going to dump it into our session. So that is why we do follow some certain rules over there, or basically you can say, rather than rules, it's a what you can say, proper functionality which we follow in our session, which will help not only us but also all of you, so that you can also learn the knowledge and apply the knowledge in the project. So first thing first is like, if all of you are thinking that yes, Manoj, I am having some doubt or something like that, you can keep a notebook copy with yourself, or just open up a notepad while looking at this, go to training app over there, type your query at the end of the session. That means, like as Sana said, like half an hour. I think it won't be half an hour, it will be somewhere like 1 hour. Okay, after that we will basically take the question answer session from all of you guys. Same thing we follow excuse me guys, in all of our session. It's not like only for the demo session, for all of our session. So all of you will be given a chance to ask your question, we will give you the answer over there. And the second thing is like, not question in between. Why? Because see, you will see the specific knowledge, the specific skills which we will be talking about Ariba over here. This we are not reading and not basically vomiting out in the session. We are remembering the work which we've done in the project, and as per that we will be learning that thing. Okay, so rather than waiting for some more lecture, let us go into the session. Okay, let us basically focus on it. So once again, welcome to our SAP Ariba demo overview. So first thing first, what is SAP Ariba? So a lot of people basically will say lot of things, but I will basically say is SAP Ariba is a highly focused procurement solution based on cloud solutions. Now, cloud solution, I think all of you know about it. That means it does have a server client architecture over there, but the client will not maintain the server. The service provider will maintain the server over there. In this case, Ariba will maintain it themselves. Okay. Second thing. So when I basically say cloud solutions, so all of you will basically think like what was the predecessor of Ariba over there? So most of the Ariba consultant think the predecessor of Ariba was either SRM or MM. But actually, let me just focus on one point over here, guys. That is neither of this thing, neither of these two software are predecessor of Ariba. Because most of you are basically thinking right now of SAP Ariba. Why? Because Ariba has the term SAP before it. That's one of the issue with any Ariba consultant who is basically going to work in a project, because they are comparing it with ERP or SRM, or ERP means in bracket MM over there, but actually it is not. Why is it so? Because I'm going to tell you the same thing over here, which I think most of you know about it, but the conclusion from it, that is what separates a good consultant with a great consultant. So the first point, if you read over there, Ariba was founded in 1996, long time ago, correct? Specifically 24 years ago. But at that time, Ariba was selling on-premise procurement solution. Plain and simple. The architecture, the coding, the definition, the design, everything was different. Why? Because it was developed as per Ariba's point of view. Very good, Manoj. Why you're talking about on-premise things? Because on-premise things are obsolete. Then yes, Ariba came out with the cloud solution in 2010. Manoj, we know this thing. Okay, now let me give you a little bit of different perspective over here. Ariba launched the cloud solution in 2010, correct? At that time also Ariba was not an SAP company. SAP bought out Ariba in 2012 September, I think in the month of September over there. So what does it means? All of you might have heard this thing. The first thing and foremost thing which all of you should understand over there is like Ariba is not a homegrown product like that of SAP ERP, S4 HANA or SRM. They were basically developed by, designed by, architected by SAP team itself. Ariba was not done by the SAP team. So those of you who are basically comparing, hey, Ariba is basically to replace MM or SRM over there, it's a wrong thing. It's of course will complement ERP MM over there. So that's the first thing which all of you should know, because this is the first major mistake. When you will basically come to Ariba over there, you will compare it with MM. Don't do that, because in that way, yes, you're learning Ariba, but you will be implementing the project, Ariba project, from the point of view of MM. One of the biggest mistake. Same mistake I have also done in the first project. Yeah, don't do that. Very important point. Second thing, I think all of you know about the concept of purchaser and supplier or vendor over there. So if you look at any on-premise solution, both of the things, both of the users will be logging into the one URL. Whether you're talking about the enterprise portal or the SRM portal over there. But in Ariba, you will have two separate UI, user interface, two different URL. One is called as the Ariba buyer URL, where the buyer will log in, and another is a wonderful thing which is called as Ariba network. Ariba network generally will be used by the supplier to log in, check the transactional document, and then do what? Respond against it. Okay. And the wonderful thing about Ariba network is very simple. And what's that? Excuse me. It's having almost 3.4 million supplier as of now. That's the added advantage which any organization while implementing Ariba can do it over there. And as you can know, $1.5 trillion, the total of POs and invoices for the year 2019. Yeah, 20 it is not basically revealed right now. So I think we will get that data most probably in January end or February 2021, not before that. Now, looking at the solution, I think all of you will be basically interested in learning the solution perspective over there from Ariba side. So mainly Ariba is divided into two parts, that is upstream and downstream over there. So first thing first, you are going to say, Manoj, you were saying that basically you don't follow PPT, you don't give end user training, you give project training, project based training over there. So why you are writing the things over here? Like downstream procurement, operational procurement deals with meeting the daily purchasing needs of organization, blah blah blah. Why you are basically writing this thing? Because this is the same thing which is found out in the Ariba guide. Correct? All of you are going to say this particular thing. So it's a very good question for all of you guys to remember. Then why? Why basically I am using a PPT which basically I don't want to do it? Where we specifically said that we are not going to give you end user training. We are going to give you project based training to show you the difference. So let me go out of this particular thing. Okay. Open a notepad. Now, upstream, downstream. Manoj, we want to understand what's the meaning of upstream, what's the meaning of downstream over there from a project perspective. From a, if a client is coming to me and asking what is upstream, what is downstream, I cannot use those technical jargons over there to make them understand. Can you do that? Of course, we can do that. But before that thing, excuse me, in any procurement solution, if you go, you will understand one thing. And what's that particular thing? There are two types of product. New product and old product. What do you mean by new product and what do you mean by old product, Manoj? New product, of course, means the product which is not present in the Ariba database. Old product means what? You have basically buy that particular product from a particular supplier. So that product is existing in your database. Very good. Any other difference apart from this thing? Yes, there is a difference. It will not have the source of supply, new product. Now, all of you will basically say, Manoj, source of supply means yes, there is a lot of information, but mainly from which supplier he will buy, at what price he will buy. Yes, there are other important parameters also, but these are the two main things. Why? Because you never buy that particular product. How will you know the exact supplier? How will you know the exact price? Very good. Now, let us focus on the old product. Of course, it is present in the database. You have bought it from supplier. So, yes, it will have the source of supply. Now, why I am basically talking about all these things? Because all of you should focus on one thing, guys. And what's that focusing part? That focusing part over here is what? The simple thing over here is, I will tell you, that is any software, any procurement software, forget about Ariba. Main thing, main challenge for any client, if you go over there, you ask them business side, they will basically say, hey boss, we are having one policy for new product which we have not bought. There is another policy for old product. Why? Because old product runs into the Everything is known. But for a new product, we cannot just go gun blazing over there. Just like if you want to buy a smartphone. Now let us say, how will you buy the smartphone? So all of you will have idea about the smartphone, the different component, the different brands. You can just directly jump off, go to basically Flipkart, Amazon, or basically you any authorized service center, or basically authorized seller. You can buy it. But next day, if I ask you the question, if you don't know anything about smartphone, can you just jump on and go to Amazon or Flipkart and then you can decide and you can buy? I don't think so. Same problem you will see is faced by whom? It will be faced by the client also, the big organization. Same thing, because yes, we will do this particular buying based on our requirement. They will do the buying based on their requirement. This is the difference. Okay. Now, Manoj, why you are saying about new product and old product? Actually, in Ariba, there is no concept of new product and old product, because some of you might ask me that, Manoj, why you're basically dealing with technical words. So I don't want to deal with the technical words over here. So I use this particular concept. Remember, in Ariba, there is nothing called as, or basically nothing is used as what you can say, old product and new product. In Ariba, these two terminology will always come: non-catalog item and catalog item. But now all of you understand what is the meaning of catalog item, what is the meaning of non-catalog item. Yeah, not only from Ariba perspective, but from a project perspective also. What is it? Okay, Manoj. So what does it have the relationship between upstream and downstream and new product and old product, or catalog item or non-catalog item? So as I said, if you want to buy something new, what he will do? Of course, he will try to find out the source of supply. Correct. But before finding the source of supply, what he will do? He will also do a little bit of market research, right? Okay, I will this particular product is there. Okay, these are the different components present into it, and then basically these are the big suppliers, these are the average suppliers over there. All this market research you will do. Where you will do it? You will do it in the upstream. Basically in upstream, what you will do, you will find the source of supply. Plain and simple. Correct? That is what you do in upstream solutions perspective. What you do in downstream? In downstream, basically, what I will do is like, I will take the real deliveries, order the product, take the real deliveries, pay the supplier. That means what? That means operational. What do you mean by operational, Manoj? Simple word. Day-to-day procurement involving ordering, taking deliveries, and what? Now, like simple. So all of you are going to ask me, okay, Manoj, then why you wasted our time in new product or non-catalog or catalog item? Because in this scenario, find the source of supply. What does it mean? Mostly, where you will find the source of supply? Mostly for this particular things, right? Non-catalog item, because it does not have a source of supply. So mostly non-catalog items he will basically take, and he will try to find out the source of supply. Where? In upstream. Now downstream will do the operational day-to-day procurement involving ordering, deliveries, and paying the supplier. How, boss? How? If there is no source of supply, how you can order against it? So that's a good question. So that is why In downstream, mostly, I'm not saying fully, but mostly catalog items. So that means when you will go to a project over there and you're designing a solution, client will ask why I will implement upstream, why I will implement downstream. This is the thing. For any product, old product, that means catalog items, which is you have done the procurement. Once again, what he will do, he will directly go to downstream and he will do the procurement. But if any new product is coming, he will go into the upstream first, find out the source of supply, sign the agreement, and then basically this particular things will be move on to the downstream. Then only you can start ordering. That is the functionality of upstream and downstream. Lot of Ariba consultant will go into the project, they will talk about all the technicalities. We need this, we need that. But if you ask this simple question, no answer. Because client will ask this type of question. So all of you will say, very good, Manoj. But in detail, if you want to understand upstream and downstream, what are the different solution, what you do over there, then I will say that is also an excellent question. Let us focus on those things. The first thing first, in upstream, what you're going to do? Sourcing. Now, when you say sourcing, what does sourcing means, Manoj? Very good question. So sourcing means basically base source of supply, nothing else. Very good. Now all of you will say, okay, sourcing is a one type. Then I will say no. There are three event type: RFI, excuse me, guys, RFP, and auction. Very good. So what is there in RFI? RFI is nothing but request for information. What is RFP? Request for proposal. And auction basically stands for auction only. Now, here also, basically client will ask that basically which particular process to go. And once again, what is happening in ERP or in MM, same thing. Basically, most of the Ariba consultant is going to suggest as a solution to client. Again, it's wrong. Let's say all of you know about smartphone, and for a moment, let us assume you don't know anything about laptop. As I said, are you going to do the buying easily? No, right? Now, all of you are going to say, okay, Manoj, that means whenever something new is coming, so what I will do? New product. So you have to go ahead with RFI. Why? Okay, you don't know the source of supply, but you have basically done market research and you have found out that, okay, for the laptop over there, mostly HP, Dell, Asus, these are the company which basically sells laptop. So let's call them as suppliers over there, and let's try to understand what are the different things which is present in the laptop, and our requirement. Based on that, we will decide which laptop is better. So what you are asking, basically, you're asking for technical information about that particular product. Why? Because you don't have any idea about it. Just like if you don't know anything about smartphone, and if you say that I want to buy a smartphone, you will get a different smartphone starting from 150 to $200 over there. It can go till $1,500 also. So how are you going to buy it? First, you will try to understand, Are bhaiya, why is this $150 and why that is $1,500? What's the difference? So all of you will try to understand that. And how will you get that idea? From the technical info, plain and simple. So here you will never ask for price info. Now, once you get that idea, acha, Apple basically has a brand name. They basically give you the best product, best quality over there, and there are certain innovative features which you will not find in any phone. So then you are going to buy that particular thing, and then there is a prestige factor also over there. Okay, after that, what? RFP, request for proposal. So here basically you will ask mainly for the price info. Now I am saying price info, guys. In actuality, when you will go into any project over there, you will see price and quality both will matter. So when we will basically have our sourcing session, you will understand that what's the different type of requirement the client will give, and how you're going to basically make sure that when you're designing the solution over there, that particular solution is implemented properly within Ariba. Because Ariba will only consider the price over here, but quality factors your client will ask, and that particular implementation, how we are going to do it, where you are going to do the changes within the sourcing project, what are the different options which you're going to select, entirely those things will depend on your design purpose. So for that, you have to understand the decision parameter. There will be different templates, different events, different parameter which will control that particular feature. You have to understand that thing. So in our sourcing project in detail session, we are going to understand that. And then if you ask anybody after that, are you going to do the auction? Yes. Most of the basically people will basically say that, yes, I want to do the auction immediately after RFP auction. But that is never the scenario. Why? Let's say, for example, the client is saying my target price is somewhere around 2500 USD. And the suppliers are giving on an average of 2700, 2800 till 3000. Okay. But if the buying organization is saying 2500 or the client is saying 2500 USD is the maximum price, or not maximum price, target price, and all the suppliers are giving quotation in the range of 3500, 3800, 4000 USD. So what will happen? Excuse me, guys. Lot of issues. Lot of issues will happen. So how are you going to make sure that each and everything is up to the mark? So in that case, only you will decide that, okay, I will go for auction. So always remember, when the target price and most of the supply quoted price is having a significant difference, then only you will go ahead for auction. Otherwise, you will not go ahead for auction. That is why most of the time what will happen is, like, most of the Ariba consultant will come and they will say they will design the solution in such a way that after RFP you have to do auction. And when the UAT will happen over there, they will say, no, that is not our requirement. Only when this particular difference is coming in a very significant way, then only I want to do auction. Otherwise, you cannot make it mandatory. So for both of the issue, you have to design the solution in a very different way. Keep these things in your mind. Yeah. Now, so once you've done the sourcing, you have find out the source of supply. Very good. Now, next thing is basically contract. What is contract? Contract is nothing but a legal agreement between buyer and supplier. Excuse me, guys. Okay, very good. Now, you will sign a contract, legal agreement between buyer and supplier. Manoj, is almost same like that of ERP. I will say yes and no. Why? Because since Ariba has given or basically done a different solution over there, the development is totally different. So that is why each and everything is very different. And one of the most important thing which all of you should understand over here is Ariba mainly will use documents. Documents, Manoj, which documents? Generally Word, Excel, PDF type of document. in working with the contract, and that is a very innovative approach compared to the all screen usage in SRM and ERP over there. Apart from that, most of the basically trainer guys will not say to you that which type of contract basically they are focusing on. And why is that so? Because they will never tell you that they are making you understand the DFS document, DFS contract. What's the issue? What is the full form of DFS? So DFS stands for desktop file syncing. Now this particular process is an obsolete process, which is not supported by Ariba over there. Not right now, from 2017 onwards. Okay, and due to this particular issue, most of the client was not using contract management over there from Ariba side. Very good. So Ariba, to resolve this issue, Ariba came up with a new technology within the contract, and that is basically called as ECA. ECA stands for what? Enhanced contract authoring. Okay, so what is there in enhanced contract authoring over there? So enhanced contract authoring basically is supported by all the major browser. Previously DFS was only being supported by whom? Only by Internet Explorer. But ECA is supported by Edge, Microsoft Edge over there. It is supported by Internet Explorer. It is supported by Firefox, Opera, Safari, everything. Now, most of you basically will be thinking, Manoj, it does not matter. And I will say, yes, it does matter a lot. And why is it so? Because of a very simple thing. Majority of the client from Europe as well as North America over there, they prefer to use Google Chrome or Safari. They don't like to use Internet Explorer over there, due to which only most of the project was basically, Ariba project was skipping contract management until unless ECA came. In our session, you're going to see the process flow from an ECA point of view, the contract process flow, as well as the template configuration in ECA also, enhanced contract authoring, both. So that when you go into the project, you don't get a nasty surprise over there. Why? Because DFS contract management is not at all what? Not at all basically compatible with each other. What is that each other? That is basically one version of DFS is not basically compatible with ECA from the process flow as well as from a template perspective as well. So that is why in our session, ECA, we are basically making all of you learn so that when you go into a project, everything will feel at home. Exactly. Now, third, basically, supplier onboarding. Now, all of you are going to say, Manoj, supplier onboarding is very easy in Ariba. Onboard the supplier in Ariba. Now, the thing is like, this is one of the most toughest thing in any project. Why? Because just onboarding the supplier in Ariba is not enough, because you have to make sure the supplier is synced properly between Ariba and ERP. Very good, Manoj. But it's not a major process, all of you will say. But I will say, yes, it's a major process. Why? Because as I said to all of you guys, purchaser and vendors or suppliers in ERP or in SRM, they will log in into the same user interface. So that means they are basically present in one database. But as I said, in Ariba, it is having two different UI, Ariba buyer and Ariba network. Ariba network is having its separate set of data. Ariba buyer is having its separate set of data. Similarly, when a supplier registered in Ariba network, a separate unique ID for each supplier is generated. That is called as the Ariba network ID. And that ID should be synced to the supplier profile in Ariba buyer. Then only you can do business with that particular supplier. Complex process, yes, but once you understand that, it's not an easy issue over there. So that is why you will see supplier onboarding is basically based on three things. And what are those things? Supplier request, supplier registration and supplier qualification. Why? Because each of this step will make you do a certain activity. Supplier request is basically for collecting some basic information. Of course, you cannot use the supplier over there. Why? Because ANID is not generated and it is not synced. In the second point, basically in supplier registration, this is where the supplier will be sent a mail. They will register in Ariba network ID, and they will register in Ariba network, and a particular ANID will be generated against them, and that particular ANID will be synced. Very good, Manoj. So what is the meaning of supplier qualification? Some of the basically Ariba consultant will say it's just to assign a particular commodity code and region against a particular supplier. That's it. No. Why? Because as I said to all of you guys, Ariba solutioning is different over there. Why? Because upstream and downstream is not just a solution. It is having a separate DB database. Exactly. And downstream is also having a separate database. Now, why this particular issue is designed over there, that Ariba knows. But what we have basically seen over there, we have understood is like Ariba used to have two different, what you can say, module altogether. Previously, upstream and downstream. I'm talking about 2011, not right now. So they basically have developed two different application over there. One was upstream and another was downstream. Lot of customers use this and they have raised an issue that why we are using separate URL for it. Combine both of them into one URL. So yes, Ariba did combine upstream downstream solution within one URL, but they were not able to combine the two different databases into one till today. So that is why upstream is having a separate database, downstream is having a separate database. And what is the major goal for supplier qualification? The major goal after supplier qualification is once you qualify a supplier, this supplier will get copied into downstream. Then only you can use a supplier in downstream. Before that, you cannot use it. Plain and simple. So keep this thing in your mind. Quite an important thing for all of you guys to remember. Very good, Manoj. But let me point out one thing over here. If you look at contract basically in SRM, in ERP, when you are using a contract, what you will do? You will start ordering against the contract, right? Now, why it is not possible directly in Ariba? Because contract is present in upstream. Upstream is having its own separate database. Downstream is having its own separate database. Now, any contract which you're signing with the supplier, you cannot start ordering against it. Why? Because the data has to be moved from upstream to downstream, one database to another database. So there comes your what? Ariba contract compliance. Some of the end user, or basically some of the not end user, some of the Ariba consultant and some of the senior Ariba consultant consider them that it's part of upstream. Some of them basically consider it's part of downstream. My point over here is it's neither a part of upstream, it's neither a part of downstream. Why? Because of one thing. Because it's just a bridge between what? Between upstream and downstream, through which contract will pass. Okay, that is the meaning of Ariba contract compliance, nothing else. Very good. Now this is basically the process. Now let us focus on downstream. Very good, Manoj. So what is present in the downstream? Downstream is pretty easy, right? Why? because it's basically the buying process. So when I say buying process, it will be P2P, procure to pay. Very good. You will basically create a purchase equation from the catalog items. Very good. Then approval. Once it is approved, a PO will be created. This PO will be moved to where? To the supplier in Ariba network, and supplier will basically create a order confirmation as well as ASN against this particular PO. Very good. After that, what you will do? You will basically do the GR, but in Ariba terminology, it is basically called as receiving. Very good. After that, supplier will basically create the invoice in Ariba network. It will come into Ariba buyer. Okay. And after that, IR will get created. Invoice reconciliation. Three-way match will happen. Status will become reconciled. Then what will happen? Payment. Done, Manoj. Very simple. Not so tough. And I will say, is it so? I don't think so. Why? Because we have talked about this thing. What about this thing, non-catalog item? Because these are catalog items. So all of you will basically say to me, Manoj, very good. So it has become a catalog item over there. So from the catalog item, we have created this thing. But what about your contract? Contract is basically non-catalog item. You have signed it with the supplier. You want to consume that thing. Okay, all of you will say, Manoj, through contract compliance, we are sending this data from upstream to downstream. Now, once you are sending this data to downstream through the Ariba contract compliance, is it non-catalog item anymore? Nope, because this is the major thing. Because after publishing the contract compliance, a non-catalog item will become catalog item. Now, how you're going to identify which is a contract, which is a not? So that is why I think most of you basically, if you read the Ariba standard material, there also you will find catalog is of two type: punch out catalog, static catalog. But nobody will tell you according to the project, according to the client. You have to understand this is basically a non-contract catalog items. Very good. But if I run the same process against a contract catalog item, will it be called as P2P, procure to pay? I don't think so. Because if you go to any job posting over there, specifically you see the US or the North Americas over there, the Europe over there, Australia over there, New Zealand over there, Southeast Asia over there, they will always about one thing: S2P. That means basically source to pay. Majorly any client, any Ariba consultant, very few of them are basically knowing what is the difference between P2P and S2P. They will say all the technical things over there, but they don't understand what is the major difference between P2P and S2P. Some of them basically say, what is S2P? S2P is nothing, upstream plus downstream only. But in this scenario, very small point I want to raise over there, guys. P2P means procure to pay, only it will use downstream. S2P, if you look at it, it will use upstream plus downstream. Same way, you want to buy a laptop, you don't know anything about laptop, you have found out the best supplier over there. Okay, from them you have basically known the technical details. You have got a quotation. You have buy that particular laptop from that guy. Next time your parents want a laptop, where you will go? Once again, you will find a new source of supply? Probably not. Why? Because you are using that new laptop over there, and that guy has given you a good deal. So you will go to that guy only over there. Now, if that guy does not want to sell you or something, some issue is there, that's a different thing. But majorly what he will do, you will go to that particular guy only from whom you buy the laptop. Same thing over here in H2P. You have signed a contract. We have moved this contract from upstream to downstream, and then we are consuming the contract in downstream. So next time somebody asks you this question, because this is what I will also ask in the interview to any of you. If you're writing that you have worked in H2P, source to pay, what's the difference between H2P and P2P? You have to just say source to pay basically process means what? It's a non-catalog item. We have found out the source of supply and we have signed a contract over there. That contract is moved from upstream to downstream, and then we are consuming the contract in downstream. That is called as source to pay. Both upstream and downstream is being used. What is P2P? P2P means its source of supply is present. It's a catalog item. It's not a non-catalog item anymore. It's a catalog item only. So what we will do, we will not go to upstream. We will directly go into downstream, start ordering. And that is what this particular PPT was trying to say to all of you guys. It was having some technical things over there written over there, and none of us were basically able to understand this thing. But now you can get the picture over here, what is happening. And why we are having so much clarity? Because we are trying to understand these particular things from the client perspective, from the process perspective, from the project perspective, not from the standard practice perspective. Why? Because end user also know the standard process, guys. What is differentiating us, the Ariba functional consultant, the solution architect, from that of the end user? This knowledge. Exactly. Okay, Manoj, very good. But you are always talking about the process. What about integration? Now, I know all of you are basically, waiting for integration over there, saying, okay, what are the different configuration which we will see? Then I will say, guys, what will happen when you will become a project manager or delivery manager? No, I'm not saying that he will always work with the Excel over there. That will happen. That's a different thing. But are you going to write source code? I don't think so. Yes, even if you are if you were a technical person over there, once you become a project manager, are you going to write source code? No. You have to manage your team. Very good. Apart from that, what you have to do? You have to design the solution. Yes, developer will be available to you. Technical person will be available to you, but you have to architect the solution. Okay, this is how the logics looks like. This is how you will write the coding over there. If you're facing some issue with the coding, then you come to me, I will help you over there. Same thing solution architect will do. Solution architect will not always configure each and everything. They will design the solution, high level designing, high level configuration, they will do it. But if the team is facing some issue, what they will do? Then they will also come up and help. Same thing for integration. Let me tell you guys, none of you have to do the basis guys job. Why? Because if you look at the configuration, either CI9 or CIG, generally lot of Ariba consultant will come to me and they will ask, Manoj, how I will configure the cloud connector? Cloud connector is only 10% or 15% for us. 85% of the thing will be done by basis consultant. He will not even get the login. Similarly, from the ERP add-on, all of you are basically thinking, hey Manoj, what about it? Yes, I'm going to explain you the concept, but let me tell you, Ariba functional consultant or integration consultant, are they going to activate the web service? Are they going to basically configure the web service? Are they going to work with the S-Trust manager, working with the certificate upload and download? No, this will be done by whom? By the basis consultant. So Manoj, what we will be doing it? Now then I will say it's a very good question. Our main job as an integration consultant is to design integration scenario. Now all of you will ask me, Manoj, why you did not talk about the integration scenario? Then I will say very good. Do you think this P2P process and S2P process will have same integration touch point? Answer is no. Why? Because of the differentiation in the scenario part. Okay, Manoj, what about the payment? Okay, let's say payment I will do it in ERP. Very good. PO I will do it in ERP. So then I will ask, boss, if you're creating all the PO in ERP, then why you have taken Ariba? Payment I can understand. Okay, you want to automate something, it can be like that. Okay. Now, then all of you will say to me, okay, Manoj, that means all PO will be processed in Ariba. Then I will say, Ariba is a procurement solution. What will happen when you will have a particular client who is using planning procurement over there or planning software to basically generate a PR? So all of you will say, Manoj, okay, MRP run. Then I will say, yes. Do you have a MRP run in Ariba? And then, like, everybody is looking at me. Why is it so? Because Ariba is a procurement solution, as I told all of you guys. It's not a ERP. And MRP, I do understand some part of MM is there, but mainly it's a PP module over there. It's a functionality of PP module. Why it is present in ERP? Because it's a ERP. Because Ariba is not an ERP. So that is where what we are going to learn within the designing of integrations in now. Okay, this is one of the most important part which all of you should know. Okay, how we are going to learn, Manoj? We are going to talk about our project experience. There will be different kind of scenario, S2P, P2P, indirect, P2P direct over there. Then what will happen for the integration scenario when your client is having only upstream? What will happen for the integration scenario when your client will have only downstream? What will happen for the integration scenario when your client will have upstream and downstream? Then he will say, acha, that means from the solutioning perspective also integration scenario will get changed. And I will say, yes. Now I told all of you guys the difference between P2P and S2P. Now imagine if you don't know the difference between P2P and S2P and you're going to a project where both upstream and downstream is present, all of the PO which is coming or basically getting created in Ariba, you will think it's P2P. Your integration is wrong. From the starting, design phase only it is wrong. Wrong conception, wrong design, wrong development, wrong result. So that is why there is a lot of issues during integration, because people or Ariba consultant or integration consultant, they will focus on the technical things. We are not technical consultant, guys. In Ariba is a cloud solution. We won't be able to see the database. We won't be able to see the source code. Okay, Manoj, if we are having some changes at the source code level, then you will go to connect.ariba.com, raise an enhancement request, and SAP Ariba employees who are working in the engineering department, they will change the source code. We will not have the access for it. Oh, this is the thing. And I will say exactly. So that is why you have to focus on the major important thing, that is the designing of integration scenario. Once you know this thing, every project wherever you will go for integration, it will be a breeze. You can go and do anywhere. Why? Because basis consultant is available in every project. But proper integration Ariba consultant, I don't think so it's available. And there will be a lot of guys who will basically say to you, custom program, custom function module, custom report, custom this, custom that. And let me tell all of you guys, Yes, those things, custom things in ERP, it was good. But this CI9 and CIG, a new version is generally released after 1.5 years or 2 years. So you are copying all these things from the standard one. Very good. After 1.5 years, every standard thing is getting changed. And you have customized all those things. That means you have copied into the custom things, written your own code, and it is working fine. Once you upgrade to the new version, latest version, immediately your integration will fail. You will have no single idea where is the issue. Why? Because you cannot debug anything in Ariba. You don't have that access. In ERP, while doing the technical upgrade over there, you do have that particular debugging activities. Your basis consultant do have activity of the SPAU and SPDD activities, but here you can't. So that is why you have to be clear. One of the solution for all these custom things are bodies, but which body to use where, when it will get triggered, you have to know this thing. Otherwise, you wanted to go from Delhi to Hyderabad over there. Instead of that, you will land up in Delhi to Mumbai over there. And then you will say, What happened over there? Because you did not know which train was going to Delhi to Mumbai over there and which one was going from Delhi to Hyderabad. You chose the different train over there. That's the issue. So you have to understand that particular thing. So that is what we are going to understand in our integration scenario. Once that is done, we are also going to understand mass data load. What is mass data load, Manoj? So, as I said, integration is of two types: master data integration, transactional data integration. Very good, Manoj. So, what's the issue with that? The issue with that particular thing is very simple. When you are basically working with uh, master data from ERP to Ariba, you want to bring it. Very good. Not an issue altogether at all. But but what about those master data which is existing in Ariba but it is not existing in ERP? Good question, Manoj. Second thing, some of the data, master data, are present in ERP and Ariba, but ERP will have different format, Ariba will have different format. Say language, you're talking in English and your client is talking in French. You don't have a translator in between. And let's say Google Translator is also not working. What he will do? You will not understand a single thing. Not a single thing. Plain and simple. That would be the issue. So that is how you're going to work with mass data load. Why? Because we have to work with CSV, comma separated value file over there, prepare the data and load it into Ariba. Why? Because this kinds of data type and format of data exist. And remember, this is not optional. This is mandatory in every project, whether you're talking about implementation or support. Very good. What's the next thing? The next thing, basically, what we are going to see is configs itself. Okay, both CI9 and CIG we are going to see, plain and simple. Now all of you are going to say, very good, Manoj, but what about the configurations? And I will say, okay, catalogs loading we are going to see basically over here, guys. Catalogs config, of course, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million catalog items are there. How we are going to make sure that it is maintainable? Those things we are going to see. We are going to see the downstream approval workflow, all those particular thing, etc., etc. And we are also going to see one thing in downstream, that is guided buying. Every company is basically asking. If you go to any project right now, they will always ask you, hey Manoj, where is guided buying? We want to implement guided buying for our casual users. So that also we are going to see. Okay, Manoj, let's go in upstream. What configuration we are going to see? We are going to see just template configuration. Why? Because in upstream, every configuration, whether it's talking about the approval workflow, whether you're talking about the business rule configuration, each and everything for all the sub solutions over there, it will work from a template. Now this is where also a lot of Ariba consultant will make a mistake. Oh, I will create a one single template for the whole client. Take for example contract. You're working with a contract. Okay, so they will basically, client will basically say, "I want this thing," and most of the Ariba consultant will say, "Okay, Manoj, I will go ahead with template, one single template. It's more than enough for the whole client." Then I will say, "Why, boss? Tell me, the contract law in India and the contract law in US and the contract law in Australia, are they same? So if you sign a contract within India and if you take it to US to enforce it, can you enforce it properly? The answer is no. Why? Because laws are different. Some section of the law will be same, some of them will be different. So if that is the legal compliance over there, which is very basically different, so how you can have a single template for your whole process? Again, designing. Nobody will basically be able to say. Some of them will basically say "ini mini mini mo" like this. They are going to say, "Okay, this one, choose single template." Some of you will basically say, "Okay, choose multiple template." But why multiple template? Why not single template? This particular thing, when you go into the project, you see the client's requirement, then you will understand. Same thing we have done in the project. So that is why I can say with confidence, okay, you have to work with multiple templates, but how you're going to design it, that we have to understand. Just knowing multiple templates is not enough. Correct? You have to determine what is the differentiating parameter between one template and another templates. Those variable you should know. Once you know this thing, then it will be very easy for all of you to understand. Otherwise, this will be a very tough thing. So those things we are going to see in our template configuration. Exactly. And last but not the least, reporting. Now reporting. There's a lot of misconception in reporting. All of you will basically say to me, "Manoj, reporting, what we will do? We cannot do any source code changes, or else we can do the source code changes, but again, enhancement request is payable by the client. Client will basically ask you to change the reporting after every 2-3 months. So for that enhancement request, client will not pay money. So what will happen in the project? He will go. You will see one Ariba consultant is sitting over there, running the program. That means report over there, downloading the output in Excel format, and within the Excel, they are doing all the data operation with 50,000, 100,000. That means 1 lakh data records at one go. And that guy is working on the reporting only. And I will ask them, "Why, boss?" Because they will say Ariba is on cloud solution. And then I will say, "So what? We cannot do any changes." And I said, "Who told you?" Yes, I do understand these reports are standard reports, but you can configure them fully regarding the usage of custom formula, the usage of the different fields, everything which you can use over there. Okay, so basically we are going to see the customization. Okay, Manoj, very good. Anything else? How about automating the entire process? Huh? Automating the entire process, Manoj, what does it means? Means basically, how about scheduling the report to run in the background? Okay, so basically running the report in the background after some pre-scheduled duration that we can do. Yes, we will see that thing. Next thing is like all the configuration we will see. Okay, very good. Third point is like automatic email will be triggered to the users for the reporting from the client side. They will receive a particular automatic email where within their email inbox. Within that email inbox, email attachment will contain the report output in a proper format which they have basically asked for. That particular configuration you have done. That means once you have done this thing, you will touch the reporting when your client is basically asking for changes in the logic of the reporting. You will totally automate this process. So all of these particular things, guys, we are going to see in our sessions. That is why I said to all of you guys at the beginning that this is not a normal sessions which we are basically taking. Everything what we are basically learning, which we are doing over here, it is from the projects. Nothing is theoretical. Nothing is theoretical. Why? Because if it was theoretical, first of all, template and all those things won't be shown by the trainer. And even if they are shown, they will say, okay, this option is there. That's it. You cannot do anything after that. But telling you that this kind of the requirement, what are the different design options, single template or multiple template? What is the pros and cons of single template? And what is the pros and cons of multiple templates? Okay. So all of this particular thing, you have to understand from a project perspective and how client will basically give the requirement. Based on that, we are going to understand it. Yeah, we are going to basically go through the CI9 as well as CIG over there. Why? Because I will tell you guys, since most of you guys are thinking that CIG is the most recent one over there, so CIG is basically very good. But I will tell you one thing over here, guys. CIG we are going to see in our session, and I will tell you there are cons part in CIG also. As of now, you cannot write off the CI9, and no, CI9 is not obsolete. It is basically staying with us till the end of December 2023. Ariba actually said, I think 1 year ago, that December 2020, CI9 is going to be not supported. Exactly. But right now, they have basically extended it. Excuse me, guys. Yeah, just a moment, guys. So yes, we are going to see both CI9 as well as CIG. Okay. I think Sana, I think we can basically show to all the participant that apart from our training, which is the main attraction over there, what are the other supporting documents which all of our participant will basically get over there? Yeah, because that is also important. So let me just make you the presenter over here, Sana, and basically we can, if you share your screen, then basically we can show it. Excuse me. Okay, so basically, let me just clarify one thing to all of you guys, that we are also going to share with all of you guys the G Drive. Once we basically start with our session, so all of you are going to get this G Drive access. Now, out of this G Drive access, the first thing which you can notice is the session recording folders. So that means each and every session which we are going to have is going to be recorded, and it is going to be share it with all of you guys. We are going to share this particular thing with all of you guys over there, so that you can reference this thing for what you can say, for all of your needs. Okay, why? Because you have to watch through the recordings. Very good. Next thing is the Ariba access. So all of you are going to get the access over there, Ariba buyer access, along with two supplier access in Ariba network, so that you can practice the thing. And this access is for 2 months, guys. Yeah. And few other things which I want to basically clarify about the access. The first thing first is, like, yes, you will also basically get the configuration access also over there, along with standard documents, standard process flow. Apart from that, you are also going to get access for configuration, like template configuration, catalogs loading, catalogs configuration, downstream approval configuration. Yes, those things you will get it. But user creation, user deletion, and roles creation, roles deletion. This super admin access, we cannot give it to all of you guys over there because that has been explicitly prohibited by SAP Ariba itself over there. So that is why we are not going to give you the super admin role, but normal admin roles which you can use for the functional configuration that all of you will get. Yeah. And Sana, can you just open up the third notepad over there? Yeah, third folder. Yeah. So basically, guys, these are the notepads which we basically use in our uh, sessions over there, each of the session. So Sana, can you just click on the new notepad? Yeah, first folder. Just open up the catalog one. Yeah. So basically, in each of our session, guys, we are going to use this notepad. Now, what is the usage of this notepad? Because this is a custom notepad which we have basically created over there. So that if you want to recap the session, okay, if you want to recap the session very quickly, so this notepads is going to help you. See, you have to come to the session because session is the main important point over there where you will get the idea. But apart from that, if you are going to follow through, what are you going to follow through? After some time, you're going to follow through, right? That means watch the session recordings and everything. And apart from that, you're also going to do some activity. And what is that activity over there? That is go through the session recording. So rather than going to the session recordings every day, you can basically go into this and learn a lot of things. So this is going to help you over there. So that is why this notepad, custom prepared notepad, we are basically sharing with all of you guys. Exactly, it is been prepared by us only. So Sana, can you just go back? Yeah, can you go back to the main folder? No, no, not the notepad, main folder. Yeah, yeah. And the fourth part is document. Sana, can you just click on the fourth document over there? So here basically we have given the configuration guidebooks, guys, for the different upstream, downstream integration related thing over there. And can you just click on the upstream part, Sana? Yeah, just open this particular contract compliance over there document, the first document. Yeah, yeah. Just scroll down below. Yeah, so these are basically the standard SAP guidebooks, guys, which basically will help you. But my suggestion is don't go for it right now. Why? Because these things are very technical in nature. So if you try to read this thing on your own, you will not be able to understand. So our suggestion always is go through our sessions, try to understand each and everything. Once you have got a clear idea, then you go to this document, this normal documents from standard Ariba things, you can basically refer to it. But again, finding the standard Ariba documents is quite tough. Why? Because it's not like that of SAP where you can go into the Google search and you can download everything. If you want to download anything, you need to go to the connect.ariba.com and you must have a corporate email ID and that too of SAP Ariba partners. So that is why we have basically shared this document for all of your users, specifically if you want to build up your technical knowledge, nothing else. Yeah. Sana, can you please go back over here? Yeah. Now the fifth point, certification material. Yeah. So I think some of you guys will be interested in giving the Ariba certification over there. So for all of your help, we have basically uploaded the certification document over here, which all of you can basically refer over there. So it's a very good important thing which all of you can focus over there. Okay. And if you want to clear the certification, 80% of the course content are basically covered in our session. But yes, you have to devote some time in reading those documents over there. Why? Because these documents are theoretical in nature and the certification is theoretical in nature. But from project perspective, remember guys, Ariba certification might give you a little bit of age in the interview, but from project exposure, no, nothing. So that is why we have basically given all these theoretical books so that you can read this particular thing to clear the interview. But remember, just like, not the interview, the certification, it's just a little bit of nice to have, but it's not mandatory over there. Ultimately, at the end of the day, in the interview also, they will ask how much project you have done, what knowledge you are having. And Sana, can you just click on the first one, first folder, dumps and e-bytes? No, 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 not that one. Go to the certification material. Yeah, first folder. Yeah, dumps and e-bytes. Yeah. Can you just open the first one, first file? Yeah. Scroll down below. Yeah. So guys, these are basically the real question which have basically come in the certification exam of Ariba over there. Okay. And this question and this particular sheet contains the correct answer also for each of these questions. So basically this question is also going to give you an age. Why? Because we know that certification exam generally Ariba basically, or not only Ariba, SAP most of the time will recycle this particular question in its proper usage over there. So that is why this particular 200 question which is there will help you in clearing your certification. So when you are preparing for the certification, you have to go through this step by step documents over there. Yeah. So don't immediately plan for the certification in between the session. Why? Because you need to devote a little bit time on the theoretical part also. So for all of your help, we have kept this particular document. Yeah. Sana, can you just go back? Yeah, main folder. And the last part is basically learning hubs over there. So the learning hub basically are the end user perspective videos over there with audio, which all of you can basically look at it if you want to gain a end user knowledge over there. Now some of you basically like to understand some process from an end user perspective. So in that case, you can refer to this particular thing. But my suggestion is build up the knowledge from a consulting point of view. But any of you guys, if you want to build up your end user knowledge over there on the different things, you can basically uh, collect on or connect on this part over there. Exactly. Yeah. Sana, can you please go back to the next main folder? Yeah, and the last one is basically the sample CVs, guys. So we will basically also give you a little bit of hint on tips and tricks how to prepare your CV over there. So this particular thing will help you in understanding your what you can say in help it it will help you in preparing your CV also. So that particular thing you can do, but remember, don't just blindly copy and paste from this particular CV over there to prepare your resume. Wait for our last session. In the last session we will give you some tips and tricks. Based on that tips and tricks, you can go ahead and basically prepare yourself for what, for your resume over there. Exactly. So these are all the particular things, guys, which we will share with all of you guys once you register for our training over there. And this G Drive access, guys, is for all of your lifetime. Yeah, it's a lifetime access which will be provided to all of you guys. You can refer to these documents anytime, any moment over there. Yeah, for the full lifetime. Okay. So Sana, I think all the particular documents which we are going to share it with all of our participants, we have basically shown. So I think we can go ahead with our question answer session over there. But before that, guys, just give me 2 minutes. Yeah, just give me 2 minutes. Meanwhile, if you're having any queries, just raise your hand. And you don't need to do that physically because I won't be able to see it. But you can see in the GoTo Training app, there is a small hand sign over there at the top. Just click on it. We will know that you are having a query, and we will be taking your queries. But before that, just give me 2 minutes, guys. Just give me 2 minutes. Yeah, thank you. So guys, if you are having any queries, please just raise your hand. We are going to take your queries right now. Yeah, you can just raise your hand. So if you're having queries, we will give an opportunity to ask over there. You can raise the hand over there. Just look at the, go to training app over there. In that particular app section, you will have at the top, you will see a small hand. You can just press it once, or you can basically type in the chat box also, saying what is your basically that I am having queries. So we will basically uh, give you the option to basically ask, guys. Yeah. Yeah, Kulprava, can you please go ahead with your query?
Yeah, hi. So actually, I wanted to ask that you said that while one person goes to interview. Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, Kulprava. You can basically go ahead with your query.
Yeah. So when a person will go for interview, so they might just ask on project, like what kind of project and something like that. You had said that they'll ask on basis of that. But what if
Yeah.
the person is first time going for an interview and in the domain of SAP Ariba? So,
Yeah. So basically, you have to be a little bit diplomatic. Yeah, we have basically trained a lot of people over there. They are basically from diverse backgrounds. Some of them are having some knowledge. Some of them are having no knowledge. Some of them are basically freshers over there. So we have basically
mm,
helped all of them out over there. So first thing first is like you have to write in your CV that you are having at least 2.5 to 3 years of exposure. Now, what you will write, that is one of the most important thing. So basically, you cannot write theoretical things in your CV, because once you write theoretical things, immediately your CV will get rejected over there.
okay.
Excuse me. Yeah, so basically you have to write practical things. Practical things, what kind of practical things? The kind of practical things which you have to understand over there is very simple. And what's that simple thing? That simple thing is like uh, what kind of work you've done. Let's say for a configuration perspective, from there you will write that yes, I have worked in the upstream side over there. I have basically worked on the template over there. So sourcing template, contracting template, I have basically configured. Okay. And when basically they will ask you what you have done the configuration, so that is where our sessions is going to help you, because in our
Okay.
session over there we are not learning anything theoretical. We are learning
Yeah.
everything what has happened in our project over there. So that is why our sessions will not only help you in clearing the interview, but it will also help you in working the project. So that is why we will never ask all of you guys to basically go to read 100 question and 100 answer.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so that's the specific thing over there. So this particular thing, you have to keep it in your mind. So yes, you have to be a little bit diplomatic, but you have to basically back up the knowledge over there. So what we are doing in our sessions is like we are basically dumping the 6 project implementation exposure over here within this training. So this particular training is going to not only help you in clearing the interview, but will also help you in working in the different Ariba projects. So in this way, basically you can prepare yourself. But yes, if you're taking a end user training or the normal standard Ariba training over there, so in this case, yes, for you, if you want to do the justification, that will be very tough.
Okay, but my question is that okay, someone will always start from somewhere, right? If obviously somebody will have a new break in a new profile, so that is not mostly entertained for SAP Ariba and industry, I'm saying, or it should be an experienced person only.
See, the thing is like, see, you cannot just go as a fresher over there. That means like, hey,
Okay,
I'm having good knowledge in SAP MM, that's it. But I don't have any knowledge in
okay,
Ariba, because if you're going to keep it like that, nobody is going to give that particular position. Because in every project, yes, those things might have been, feasible in 2014 and 2015, but not right now. So you have to basically show
okay,
at least 2.5 to 3 years of experience backed up by the work exposure. Okay, that's the first thing. Second
Oh,
thing, yes, if you're asking me that Manoj, apart from this 2.5 to 3 years of experience, the other experience, if I'm going to show it over there, yes, you can show the other things also which you have really worked on over there. You can keep it.
mhm. Okay. And something I had about template also, template configuration, but I now forgot. Okay.
Okay, so
And I was
basically
saying
we,
that can I
yeah, yeah.
also see the certificate that if we do, then we get, just if you have, for an example.
See, as I said, certification is good to have. It's not the mandatory thing. The mandatory thing in is basically clearing the interview is to show that yes, you have the knowledge, you have worked in the project.
Okay.
Excuse me. Okay. And once you have basically worked on this particular project over there, it's very simple. Then you will be justifying your place in the interview. So if you cannot justify that particular point over
Okay.
there, then it will be tough. So certification, yes, it is nice to have, but it is not mandatory thing.
Okay. Okay, I get your point.
Yeah. Any other queries?
No, that's it by now.
Okay. Yeah. Welcome,
Yes.
Kulprabha.
Thank you.
Yeah. Welcome. Okay. Why someone will go for Ariba instead of SAP ERP? Now, again, guys, as I told over there, Ariba is not a replacement for SAP ERP. Even if you look at the infrastructure over there, or if you look at the, well, not the infrastructure, but what you can say, basically the design philosophy over there, it's very simple. Ariba is basically complementing SAP ERP. So the thing is like SAP ERP is the enterprise resource planning software over there. But if you look at Ariba, it's a highly specialized solution focusing on the procurement part only over there. So basically in this way, client can basically ask that why I will move from SRM to Ariba. That can be a good question over there. So in that case, yes, there are a lot of technical things which we can say that yes, Ariba is much more user friendly. Maintenance of Ariba from a functional side is very easy over there compared to SRM over there. And the third thing is basically the most important thing for the client, that is the cost saving. Since you don't need to maintain a server from the client side, no maintenance crew for that. That means like you don't need a network engineer, basis administrator, no technical guys, all those things. Only functional consultant can do the job. So that is one of the major things which factor in the client station over there. That's the first thing. Second thing, yes, you can also ask in this way that we can move majority of the procurement processes from part of ERP to Ariba over there, but we cannot compare ERP with Ariba over there. Why? Because both of them are complementary to each other. Yes, but most of the time we will move the procurement processes, majority of the procurement processes from ERP to Ariba for the ease of use, for high flexibility over there, and the configuration can be done in a very proper way. That is the major thing. Yeah. If you're having more queries over here, Chandan, you can go ahead and ask over there. Yeah, I have unmuted you, Chandan. Yeah. So no more queries, guys. Yeah. If you're having any queries, you can raise your hand or you can basically type in the chat box. You can see the chat box at the end of the, what you can see in the end of the go to training app over there. Yeah. Chandan, if you're having any query, you can unmute yourself and you can ask. Yeah, I do see a hand raised over there against your name. Yeah, we have unmuted you. You just unmute yourself and ask the query. Chandan, Am I audible to you guys? Am I audible to all of you? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thanks. Thanks guys for the confirmation. So Chandan, I think there is some problem with your mic over there. Either you can replace the mic or you can basically type in your queries in the chat box. I can read that and then I can answer that. Exactly. Yeah, Chandan, you can basically do that particular thing. You can basically type in your query over there, or you can, replace your mic over there. Yeah, we are waiting for you. Yeah, Kulprava, you are having any query?
Yes, yes. I was asking for integration, so, like all the roles which you explained, this also comes under the same role. I mean, the same person will also do this thing. So, what exactly will come into integration? Will it be the coding side or how?
See,
I hope.
basically in the integration part, basically we will be designing the solution. Once it has been done, then we have to do the Ariba side configuration. Okay, and on the CIG part, we have to do a little bit of configuration from the cloud connector side, little bit. Okay, and then on the ERP
Okay.
side also, most of the configuration will be done by the basis consultant. We have to just sit over there and help them out. And the next thing is basically if your client want customization, which they always will want over there, so they will ask you to customize the logic, the integration logic. So how will you customize this integration logic? In a very simple way. And what is that particular simple way? That simple way is through the usage of different bodies. So all of these particular things we are going to understand over there, but remember from a functional point of view, not from a basis point of view, not from a technical point of view. That means not from ABAP point of view.
Okay. So, any example of this thing?
Any example? Same thing, like the P2P process, the S2P process over there. Within P2P also you will have indirect and direct procurement.
No, I was asking like the way you explained for laptops and things like that, which was very easy to understand. So this integration thing, that's for example.
Integration basically the thing is like, see, uh let us suppose, okay, so you're a person who is going to gym every day, right? So basically you're quite fit, right? Similarly, if I take another particular person who does not go to gym, what will happen? That guy may be a fit, may not be fit over there. So if I give you a little bit of tough work to do, you can do it very easily, right? Aram say,
Mm,
okay. But if I give that particular work to a particular guy who is not doing gym, for that particular guy, it will be very tough. Similarly, you are, let's say, having the skill of Ariba. Now I am giving you the A5 module to configure. Would you be able to do it? Maybe you can learn a little bit of things and you can do it, but the end result will not be satisfactory. Similarly, if I go to A5 consultant over there and I ask that, hey, boss, you do the Ariba implementation. Maybe that guy can learn a little bit about Ariba and can do the project over there, but it will not be satisfactory. So same thing. We have to make sure that Ariba project is going to Ariba consultant, FI project is going to FI consultant. So in the same way, this whole process which you are seeing, whether it's a catalog item or a non-catalog item, whatever may be the thing, we have to understand that which system is very useful for the processing of that particular transactional document. Just like PO, for example. In certain cases,
mm,
majority of the cases, 80% of the cases, the PO will be very important from a Ariba perspective. But for 20% perspective, or 30% perspective, PO will be important from a ERP perspective. Why? Because as I said, for the plant procurement means it's a part of planning module. Planning module is not present where? In Ariba. So that is the thing which we do in integration over
Okay.
there. So you have to understand
Okay.
for which scenario, what is the leading system for each transactional document. Once you are having good idea about it, what will happen is like you can do the configuration, you can instruct the basis consultant in a very simple way, you can give all the information to them in a very simple way. So that is what we are going to focus in our integration scenario, that in each of the cases, like only upstream, only downstream, upstream plus downstream, different scenarios are there, S2P, P2P over there. For each of them, for each transactional document, how system is, means how ERP is going to behave, how Ariba is going to behave, and then we will choose in which system which transactional document will be created and where it will be replicated. So that is basically the integration scenario designing part.
Okay, and for automatic mail shooting, so is this on basis of macros or how it is, or it is in the Ariba only automatically?
See, see, mail triggering over there is a automatic part in Ariba. Over there you don't have to do any SCOT, uh, Scott, transaction code. You don't have to go and you have to configure. Why? Because this is a feature of a on-premise solution, but in Ariba it is pre-configured over there. If as a integration manager you're having that email ID which is mandatory to create your user ID, you will be receiving the automatic email notification. Even the buyers, whenever they are working, even the
Okay,
suppliers, whenever they are working, they will have the email ID present over there at the time of their creation, and they will get the email notification over there.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, welcome, Kulprabha.
Yes.
Yeah, any other queries?
No, no, thank you. That's it.
Yeah, welcome, Kulprabha. Yeah, Navnita, can you please go ahead with your query? Yeah, you need to unmute yourself, Navnita. Okay, meanwhile, we are having a query. Is Ariba implemented with SAP only? No, no. Ariba basically supports major, the majority of the big ERPs like PeopleSoft, JD Edwards, all those particular things. But generally, most of the clients who are basically going to Ariba, they are already having SAP ERP. But apart from SAP ERP, guys, Ariba can be integrated through the standard integration suite with what? With basically your JD Edwards, PeopleSoft, all those particular things. It's supported by Ariba only. But if you are saying Tally over there, then it is not supported. Tally ERP. So in that case, you have to basically use Ariba APIs to make sure that the integration is working properly through some custom mappings and all those things. But majority of the ERP, the major ERP, it is supported by the integration suite, Ariba integration suite. It's standard. Yeah. So Chandan, can you please go ahead and ask your query? Yeah. Welcome, Ramesh. Yeah. I think there is still some issue with your mic over here, Chandan. Not an issue. Not an issue. We can basically go ahead over there. So, guys, I will suggest to all of you guys, to those of you who are interested in basically learning from us over there, please get in touch with our uh, BREs over there, business relation executives. I think Nikita, Sana, Dipali, they have basically contacted you over there. So get in touch with them, and they will basically take the registration forward, and then you can basically come and attend the session. You will also get the G Drive access as well as the Ariba access folder over there. So all of you can basically go through that particular thing. And generally we do have both weekday session as well as weekend session over there. So accordingly, you can basically decide on your behalf in which session you can come over there and which session you can basically join. But I will suggest guys that if you are basically working on the weekdays over there, you can come on the weekdays if it's good, or if you're having time on the weekends, then you can basically focus on the weekend thing also. So it's up to you whether you want to come in which sessions over there. We are having multiple sessions on weekdays and weekends. So just get in touch with your business relationship executive over there, and you can give your preference accordingly. You know, the session can happen. Yeah. So once again, thanks Sana over here, and thanks to all of you guys. Thanks Sana for conducting this training, as well as thanks to all of you guys for participating in our session. So the next session basically we will be having very quick, but before that, you can get in touch with the BREs for the further registration over there. Yeah, thanks guys over here. So let's conclude our session for the day. Yeah, thanks guys, and hope to see you soon. Yeah, bye guys, have a good day ahead and have a good night ahead.